So check it out. You know what it is. It's Friday, TGIF. It is time for another episode of the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. And today, as we do every Friday, we bring in our financial philosopher right over there. You know, I point at you, but our cameras are backwards. So
it's hard. It's hard to. I'm glad you switched this because I used to get confused too. Now I can just go, "Hey, Steve."
That's right. That's right. And so now you know how weather people feel, because weather people have to look at the monitor and everything is backwards. They have to point to their right to go left. Anyway, you know what today is?
I can never know because it's 365 options.
That's right. Today, well, aside from September 22nd, it is World Car Free Day.
Huh.
And I was that close today to being car free.
Side note, is Mansfield like of the mindset of wanting to create some car free zones where we can kind of just, like ride bikes through different areas?
There was a time when, there was a test run. There were some bike lanes put in up around pretty close to Walmart.
Okay.
And, around the post office.
Yeah.
And Mansfield is not really a biking type of city. So
you could probably do it downtown though, because they got like the multifamily, and you can come into downtown, and you got. There are some bikeable areas, but for the most part, you have to ride on the street. There are no bike lanes, and good luck. It's all good.
But I was that close to being a car-free day, and thanks to my battery charger, I'm up and at work. And
well, good news is we're like 5-ish years away from like the cost per mile of an automated car being like 25 cents cost per mile, which will like help.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And micro transit is coming to Mansfield, so I could have just called up the minivan and gotten a ride to work. But
awesome.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about cars and dead batteries. Mind over money. We are continuing your series on rewiring your financial attitude. This is the sixth of an ongoing series, of a never-ending series.
Never-ending series.
And so these are, again, to our listeners, our viewers, excuses or sayings that people come up with when it comes to their finances.
Mm-hmm.
And number one, today, I am too overwhelmed by my financial situation to make changes. This reminds me of how many stocks are in the stock market?
Like the total stock market, let's call it 10,000-ish.
All right. That's where someone there are too many choices. I'm overwhelmed. But I'm too overwhelmed by my financial situation to make changes. Your turn.
Yeah. So that's a good analogy because right, how do you pick stocks out of 10,000? I'm going to answer it a different way than I answered on my podcast, and I was talking to my boys about this last night. We like to watch anime shows, and it was like this one show where this higher being, which is an angel, he was explaining how to go into this mode called Ultra Instinct, which is like a super high level of awareness where you're no longer thinking, right? Because to think something in martial arts is you have to consciously think it. But if you feel something, you're moving with the energy of like that beat that has your heartbeat without you needing to be aware of it, right? Because our heart's beat and everything operates without us needing to consciously think about it. And so like he was teaching them how to get to that mode, but it was like you have to stop thinking. You have to feel, right? And so where I'm going with it was like I was talking to my boys and said, hey, listen, if you ever wanted to get into a mode where you can operate consciously every part of your body without needing to think about it, like how do you line up with that energy? And they were going, I say, could you think about it? Could you like create some like thought process to do it, and they were like, "Nah, that seems pretty hard." I was like, "Nah, you have to just get in tune with a frequency, which is a feeling, right? Get in tune with a feeling, and allow the feeling to do the work, of that." And so where I'm going with it is, feeling overwhelmed is a feeling that is like inverse to wealth building, right? Like it's very similar to being dizzy or your equilibrium being thrown off. And so when
that's right. You talked about that playground.
Spinning around with what is it called? The roundabout.
The roundabout. Yeah.
It's like getting off of a roundabout if they're going like really, really fast. Like you try to make decisions from that mindset is like negative. Literally, like not negative in a bad way, but it's subtractive.
Right.
And so the key is like to just not like first gain your equilibrium, like get balanced, and then try to walk or try to make financial decisions.
Making financial decisions can be as dizzying as stepping off of a roundabout.
Absolutely.
Next one, I'm too impulsive when it comes to spending, and that I think of the gambler. The gambler who walks into a casino, it's an impulse that start with the dollar slot machine. Now I'm down to the quarter slot machine. Now I'm down to the nickel slot machine. But it's an impulse.
And it's an impulse that is like it's an out of balance impulse too, because the gambler wants to be wealthy without feeling wealthy.
Yeah.
That's the gambler's like, I feel poor and I need something to save me, and so I need to hit a lick to make myself not feel poor. And like that unbalanced energy, you can't, like, it's math, like 1 + 1 = 2, right? So like 1 + 1, there has to be an equal sign for it to equal 2, right?
That makes sense.
If it were a less than sign, then it's not equal. It's not balanced. And so, the impulse comes from like, I'm not even trying to like go super like weird on it, but I'm saying like the reason why I use math and talk about impulses and feelings is like feelings are what match things up. You know what I mean? Like rewiring your financial attitude. People are attracted to your attitude, like how you feel. And so if you don't feel wealthy, there's no action you can take that's gonna allow you to gain wealth outside of stealing it. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to keep stealing and manipulating to keep it, which is like just a stressful energy. But if you like line up with it and you feel wealthy, then even if you do gamble, you become like, I forget the lady that hit the lottery ticket. Like it's a lady who hit the lottery like so many times in a row that it was not like it's not that's luck, but that's like mastery of luck, right? It's not like chance.
Where you see in your crystal ball the numbers and you bet on those
right. And I would even think we're talking about impulses from what I've experienced in being in that energy. It's less of a crystal ball where you know the step you're going to take, and it's more of a, in this moment, this feels right.
Yeah.
And then you do it, and you have no understanding of the reason until after the fact, right? But you go, this feels right. And then you get the reason of why that felt right, and the reason was aligned with how you felt before.
Next one, financial success is only for lucky or privileged people.
Good. That was a good play off of what we just talked about. Because, it's totally true. Like optimistic people are more lucky than pessimistic people, right? Optimistic people in health trials heal more times than pessimistic people, right? So what we call luck, you can interchange that with optimism, but like there's a how I built this podcast. And one of the questions that Guy asks every successful person that he interviews on there is, how much do you attribute your success to luck? How much do you attribute it to like work, right? And like everybody gives different answers, right? I find the most aligned people, like the people that are happiest with the most peace, contribute. They're not afraid to give luck a lot of the weight because they understand their luck is their attitude, right? So it's not luck in the context of how most people think about luck. It's the work is in maintaining the attitude. If you maintain the attitude, you get the right impulses, and then you express wealth. But the opposite of that, or how most people think about it when you're thinking from a reason standpoint, is you think, no, hard work is what got me, and I created the plan, and I worked this out, right? And I did this, and I did that, and you go, yeah. If that's what you need to say to make yourself feel better, then cool, right? But there were a lot of things that you had to be born in America. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, you had to be born in America, right? And then you had to be born in a time where your interests lined up with what you were good at naturally, right? And then build them up. So, like, there's a lot of things at play that you didn't consciously put in motion, right? Like, you know, that is a certain frequency that you have to line up with, right? To play at the highest level.
Do you think Warren Buffett or Elon Musk, Bill Gates, do you think they were lucky or privileged?
So I might also translate luck into like appreciation. So there's some people who are super lucky, but they love what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're super lucky, but they love what they do. And the commonality between everybody who's great at what they do is they love it. They love what they do. And so when I go and I say luck, appreciation, love, it's all the same frequency. You know what I mean? Like so you can experience luck. It's like saying we're using electricity.
Yeah.
Right? I flip the light on. I get the electricity. Do I understand like all the intricacies of how I get the light? No. Right? But I get the light. And so that's the same way with luck. Like if you can just like be in love with what you're doing, you're going to get massively lucky. You don't even have to understand all this stoic, deep meditation type stuff.
Yeah.
Like it just works. Like just be happy, on the journey, and like stuff works out.
Don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy. No pressure, no problems.
That's right. Mo money. No. Let's go to the last one here. I'm afraid of making mistakes and losing money. This reminds me of being an entrepreneur, and or the reason why people don't go into self-employment is because they're afraid of making mistakes and losing money. But I would assume that's similar to why people don't dig into their financial situations.
Mm-hmm. You might know the answer to this question because it's been such a reused lyric. I don't know where it originated. It probably originated even beyond music, but somebody said, "If you love something, let it go." Who was that? It was a pop singer, like in the "That's How You Know." I forget. Anyway, like that's the saying: if you love something, let it go. Right?
Okay.
Which is it's saying like you can't love something and force it to be here, right? You can't like holding something in control or in force is not love. It's the opposite of love. It's the energy of fear, right? So like if you're afraid, then you won't take the acts of faith necessary to unleash the energy to like attract all the ideas and people that you need to make your goal happen. So you can't like it's. I love that example because everybody who has people in their life that they love, they realize that, man, the tighter I hold on to it, the more I push them away, right? But the more I allow them to be who they are and appreciate the positive aspects of who they are, the more connected and the more love that we experience. Same thing with money. Like there's a lot of people who don't attract money, like all of us included, like we can always attract more money, right? And so the areas in my life where things are blocked, it's where I am not allowing, right? Some area of fear is blocking it because I'm trying to control the situation, right? Versus like just allowing things to play out from a good energy and then following those impulses, which takes acts of faith, right? But in order to act in faith, you can't play in fear. So,
and the on your podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple, you gave an analogy about a bear.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've been super fascinated with like, 'cause I do martial arts, and clinch is what I love most. It's like stand up wrestling, and
Yeah.
and so I'm able to clinch with a lot of bigger, stronger guys because they rely on strength, and I'm like in the flow, focusing on staying balanced and then moving them along their path of least resistance, like Bruce Lee calls it, being like water. Because if you want to wrestle a bear, which there's lots of martial artists who wrestle with bears, like for real, they wrestle with bears, and the best wrestlers can do it because you are moving in water-like energy, meaning your emotions are extremely calm, and you are letting natural forces do the work. If you wrestle a bear with force or aggression or fear, it doesn't know the difference. It just feels your vibration and matches you, and then you can die. And then, like, you not only can you die, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like,
So the financial investing in your finances is the bear, and the more you struggle with it, the harder it's going to be.
The harder it's going to be. Yep. You got to just relax into it.
There you go. Relax. Just do it.
Just do it.
If someone wanted to reach out and get more information on wrestling a bear or working out their finances, how can they get more information about Phillip Washington Jr.?
Best way is wealthbuildingmadesimple.us. That's wealthbuildingmadesimple.us.
You got a newsletter there, right?
I do, where I'm talking about the intersection of like not just financial planning ideas and investing ideas, but like how to align your emotions with it, which is, I feel like, the missing element for most people. You can apply the quote unquote hard strategies if you align your emotions with the good ideas.
Do it. Wealthbuildingmadesimple.us is the website. Right over there is Phillip Washington Jr., and we do this every Friday. Phillip, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, you too, Steve.